just win, baby.
Yo, 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 what's goody? It's your boy Black, the quarterback, on the late night lounge of Bart. It's the last couple stops for the evening. So you might not have started your day with the Bart, but you can end your day with the Bart Bay Area Redders Talk. Just sitting on here for the late night, had to set up my system real quick. So I'm just doing like a little lounge, late night lounge chat, just concerns of the nation and things like that. What's good with it? Dwayne, what's good with my brother? So yeah, man, let me know if it sounds good in the chat. It's just like a little stream that we're gonna do, but we're gonna talk about one of the things I do want to talk about is why is everybody still talking about Mendoza start? Like, why are we doing that? That's a good one for us to create this PTSD that I've been telling you guys about, the post-traumatic Super Bowl disorder that we got, or the deficiency that we had. And we set ourselves up for this emotional roller coaster that we put ourselves on. And then when things don't work out the way we hope for, because everybody's full of hopium, then we start crashing out. I don't get it. Maybe y'all can help me get it tonight. Help me understand what it is that I need to understand as a long time Raider. I'm not even a fan. I'm a Raider at this point. So I'm a long time Raider. So what's up with y'all though? Why are you guys? Well, I understand why the media is doing it because it's slow right now. The OTA is just starting. They don't have anything to talk about. I've seen things they talking about. I think on Pat McAfee, they were talking about Mendoza's helmet, the way it looked, just all kind of stuff that they create to try to make things seem different, just to have talking points until there's real things to talk about on the field. But we're gonna go into that. We're gonna talk about, I don't know, trading Stooks. He did a nice interview. What's good with Sean? Um, let's see what else I want to talk about. I want to talk about we, the schedule release. Schedule release was good. I'm glad that everybody finally got that out the way. Projecting the wins and things like that. I see nothing wrong with that. Usually, when you're as a player, you look at the schedule and you can tell what games are going to be a little bit tougher than others. You might have some games circled on your schedule that you want to get your rest that week. Pay an extra attention to details that week, similar to how other teams do us when it's Raider week. When it's Denver, they play us as Raider week. Kansas City is Raider week. Chargers is Raider week. I've never really remember us saying it's Chiefs week or it's Chargers week or Broncos week. I don't think that we really try to gear up for teams like that. But there are teams on the schedule that you would circle. Like for example, I'm sure Kubiak has the Seattle game circle, maybe even the Rams game circle. Uh, Let me see, Kirko Chains. He needs to have that Kansas City game circle because I think he's 0-5 against Kansas City. So I think that he should have that game scheduled, that game circled on the schedule, week 4, I believe, when we play Kansas City. So there's things on the schedule that kind of gives you a slight projection of what to expect or games that you want to really get up for. So I'll talk about a little bit about the scheduling too, and how many wins will we get with Kirk Cousins? I mean, it's already been said that he's gonna, you know, ideally we would want to sit him, we would want to sit Mendoza down for the first year or as long as we can before he plays and set the lay of the land for him. Give the offensive line some time to get some continuity, and then that way we're not just sitting up there trying to try a bunch of moving parts that we don't know how much success that we're going to have at those things. And I do believe the quarterback should be that. That's why I'm doing this live stream just to see what's going on because it looked like I lost my video already. See what I'm saying? Just BS on the BS. But anyway, thanks. So, what are you guys thinking? Just off the top of your head, what do you guys have the Raiders winning this year games? You guys have got time had time to look at the schedule, and what do you guys think the schedule? What do you guys think the win total is going to be this week? I mean, this year. A lot of teams, a lot of people were saying that the team were going to win 3 to 4 wins. I think a lot of that had to do with people being PTSD over our last couple seasons that we've only won 3 games each season. So they don't want to get their hopes high, saying we're going to win 7, 8 games, and we mess around and win the same amount of games. So I do understand, why people are feeling the way that they're feeling, but I think we should be a little bit more optimistic based on what we've already installed. So I think sky's the limits for this team. I think we'll end up getting it somewhere around, 6 to 8 wins. I really want to say 7. 8 would be, ideal. I mean, the ceiling for me. Anything past that, then we're way ahead of the curve. I think if we even win 6 games, that'll let us know that we're on the right trajectory, and we will have twice as many wins as last year and the same amount of wins in the last 2 years. So if you can't see that as being an upgrade or something to be optimistic about, then I don't know what you guys expect. So it's all good. Is everything sounding good in the chat? Let me know. Let me check and see. What? Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. I know it's late night. People probably sleep on the East Coast. West Coasters are starting to wind down for the evening. So let me look at the schedule. Let's do a schedule. Let's look at our schedule just for the giggles of it all. Let's see. What games are you guys looking forward to? What games did you have on your schedule on your schedule circle for this team? My the game I have circled is definitely that first Kansas City game. You know, I think that we have to build a team that beats Kansas City. And I know that they didn't win the division last year,
But we do know that Kansas City is the gold standard in this conference, in the division anyway, and arguably in this conference. So we built the team. We're building a team to beat Kansas City. And how do you beat Kansas City? We have to beat them with the D line. We have to get pressure. We got to get pressure on Mahomes, and it has to be more than Max Crosby because Max Crosby was like the main contributor for the pressure. But we need to bring pressure all the way around. They've upgraded pieces on their team. They got to. They're going to have a better running game this year for sure. They're going to definitely have a better running game this year. Pacheco, he was okay, but he wasn't really a threat. Kareem Hunt, he did cool, but he wasn't really, somebody that they can rely on all the time like that. So I think by them adding K9, that'll help them stabilize their game a little bit more, so they don't have to rely so much on Patrick Mahomes. Uh, he's starting to become more of a game manager than a game breaker. And we will talk about that because a lot of people may have different opposing also as far as should you get you a game manager? Is a game manager not so good of a thing, or do you need a game breaker? So I think the game that I have circled, let me pull up the schedule for us. The game that I have on our schedule circled. Yes, all division games. I like that. I do like that. We have all the division games circled. We definitely need to win some division games. That's something we've definitely been very lackluster this year. And I mean, last couple of years. I think the year before last, we didn't win no division games. We won. We beat Kansas City last year with 5 field goals. Other people were calling AOC the Chiefs killer. I don't know. Well, man didn't throw no touchdowns or anything, but I guess if he didn't lose the game, he did his job. That's why I say AOC is a career backup. But it's cool. You didn't get the notification, brother? Hmm. Interesting. Uh, Try unsubscribing and subscribing again, and then hit the bell button. Or if not, just turn the bell button off and uh, turn it back on. I appreciate the notification gang, the bell. If you are getting notifications, I do need to know that because as I build this platform, those people that do special things are going to get special things and special circumstances and special perks over here. If you're going to be part of my membership program, you're getting special perks. If you part of the bell notification, you're getting special perks. If you part of the chat raiders, you're getting special perks. So that's how we looking at it. What's up with Cool Kev? Yeah. That's a possibility because I do want you guys to help me get the page going where I can do things like that. I do want to start a Discord for the Raider fans that don't get to see all the Raider games. And then I want to be able to grab the NFL ticket. And then we watch games on Discord or on a platform where it won't be blacked out. Because even in the Bay Area, Raider fans have a hard time catching the Raider games, especially when they're not playing well. And if they're not playing well, then they'll put on the Chargers game or whatever team on the West Coast. Even sometimes Arizona. Like, who wants to watch Arizona? But Willie Wayne, what's good? I see the chat Raiders starting to file in right now. What's up with my brethren? But hey, cool Kev. I definitely want to be able to do things like that for us because you know how the nation get down. Have you ever been to the Oakland Coliseum and you're walking to the Coliseum over the over ramp, over the BART? For those that don't know what the Bay Area is, the Bay Area Rapid Transit. It's just like a what they call them things. subways or whatever. They call them a subway. And as you walk over that over ramp, you can see the many clouds of smoke. You can smell it all the way from the BART, and you can just see that the parking lot is full. So you know the Raider Nation definitely know how to burn it, burn it. So okay, cool. I'm glad you got the right sentence now, brother. But which games do you guys have on your schedule circle? Because for me, yes, I do agree. All the division games, yes. I do have that Kansas City, the first Kansas City game circled. Um, I do have that Niner game circled for sure. You know, we all got that Niner game circled. We got to beat their head in. Tired of the Niners, the overachieving, underachieving team. They always think they about to win the Super Bowl and then get their head beat in the playoffs because they're either injured because Shanahan don't know how to keep his players from being injured. So I want us to beat their head in. Buffalo. Buffalo is an interesting game. Buffalo will be an interesting game. A lot of people have this game as slotted as um, that we're going to lose this game. And I believe that in this first year with Buffalo, they're not going to be as coordinated as they normally been because they've got so far with what they had. They had a decent coach. I mean, I really like the coach that they had, and they only got so far. So now they're trying to restructure the infrastructure, not rebuild but reload, and they got a more quarterback friendly coach, and so that they're going to probably try to rely more on the quarterback there. Well, I can't think of his name. I'm having a brain fart right now, but you already know they're going to try to beat him, have him beat all the teams with his arm, and hopefully that their defense can try to, complement them. But I think that we could probably steal one from either Buffalo or the Rams. It's going to be one of those two games that we steal, and that's how I feel. I feel like we're going to steal one of those two games. You know, when you look at the records, the schedule, we all kind of say, hey, this is a team that we could beat. This is a team we're not going to beat. So a lot of people think this is a team we're not going to beat, all along with the Rams. But as you know, the Raiders will win some games that they're not supposed to win on paper, and they will lose some games that they're supposed to win on paper, but it all evens out. So I do think Buffalo is a game that we can beat. The Bills are not great at receiver. That's good. Yeah, Joe Brady is their head coach. I was trying to remember the quarterback name for the Bills. I don't know why I can't think of his name because I have him as a player comp for Mendoza. I don't know why I can't think of his name still, even right now at this moment. Josh Allen. Like he's built like Josh Allen. I met Mendoza in person before the draft at a Fanatics party, the Adidas party for the Super Bowl weekend. Real good kid, and that's the first thing that I thought of when I saw him in person because you can see a person on TV and you think that like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a short dude. You think you think he like almost 6 foot watching the movies, unless he's standing next to somebody else. Same thing with Kevin Hart. I met Kevin Hart that same weekend, and he is inch eye private eye. You know he's short, but he's even shorter. Now me, I'm 6 foot, so I can understand guy 5'7", 5'8" being really, really short in person. But yeah, Josh Allen is my guy's player comp. So we do have the Bills circled. I can see why. Um, I see a few people saying Buffalo. Do you guys think we can pull that game out? What are you guys thinking about that? This stretch right here, Cool Kev, you're right. The Pats, the Jets, and the Bills are important. The Patriots, they're having troubles over there in Bristol. They only they're having problems with their coach now. They're hoping that the season can start and they can try to sweep this under the bridge or water under the bridge or whatever. But we don't know what's going to happen to Vrabel. I personally don't think anything's going to happen to Vrabel, but I guess is if they keep the witch hunt, they're going to have to do something because they don't want it to be a distraction. They did come off a Super Bowl appearance. Uh, Are they going to have that, that hangover from the year before? It's tough for a team to make the Super Bowl to even make it to the playoffs the following year. Is this one of those situations where they're going to not make the playoffs this year, or at least be vulnerable? I think they're going to be vulnerable. They're not going to be able to build off what they did last year because of the distractions. They did lose wide receiver that everybody want us to get was Cardi B baby, that Stephon Diggs, which I don't think we should get at all. Uh, I don't think that his production warrants us going after him. He only had 4 touchdowns. I don't care if he had 1,100 yards or not or whatever, but he only had 4 touchdowns, bro. We're going to have receivers that's going to be able to catch the ball. What we do need, though, is receivers that can put the ball in the end zone other than Brock Bowers. We're going to need wide receivers that can put the ball in the end zone other than Brock Bowers. So we're going to need Thornton to try to use his height, Brock Bowers for matchups, Naylor try to wiggle his way to get open, Trey Tucker. I think Trey Tucker is more of a midfield guy or stretch the defense. We can throw it to him at 70 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, maybe not a red zone type guy. But we definitely need to score in that red zone this year. The Jets is a game that we should win, but it definitely could be a letdown game because Geno Smith is probably going to have big smoke for us. Geno Smith definitely is going to have big smoke. But when they say, of course, the Niners, you already know how I feel about that whenever I see that. This is how I feel.
If you're a Niner fan, what it do? Marshawn Lynch said, you. I'm already.
So that's how I feel about that. We need to beat that head in for sure. He said Kevin Hart shorter than Meek Roberts. For sure. If Mahomes is out week 4, we can't beat them. If Mahomes is out week 4, we can't beat them. I think we could beat the Patriots as well. I think maybe you're saying we can beat them if Mahomes is out. Justice for 12. Uh, I agree because I don't think that they're going to be able to beat us with Fields. Like, he's not that guy like that. He's not going to be the guy that you can put the game on his shoulder and then let him work his magic. So I agree with you that if he's out, if we have a higher chance of beating him than with Mahomes, of course. But I also think that Mahomes is not going to hit the ground running coming in uh, off that injury. One thing that players, you have to kind of save them from themselves. But what happened is the organization don't care. The organization want to get uh, their prize winner out there to play. So if he can get himself back out there, they don't care. Get yourself out there. It's kind of like workers' comp, even for like the average individual. You get injured. Now you go to the doctor, you see their doctor is going to tell you, hey, you can come back to work even if it's on a light duty, and then you progressively get them back in. Same thing with Mahomes. They're going to let him come in. He's going to definitely push the issue about starting week 1. He's going to come to OTAs and all that. Yeah, he's going to play, but he still has to get that confidence on that leg. He still is going to have uh, his body to heal still to some degree. He might be able to play. So I'm not thinking he's going to be an 85% version of himself. Now, is a 60-70% Mahomes better than 68.2% of the quarterbacks in the league? That's arguable, So you can't sleep on him as long as he's in the game. He's shown us that if he's in the game, If there's a will, there is a way. So I do think we can still beat them because they won't be as cohesive. But I definitely have that game circled because I think we can really beat them, and I think that'll give us like a lot of confidence coming into the year with our team. And if Kirk Cousins can't beat them, then that should quiet down the Raider fans a little bit as far as putting Mendoza in, because at every interception or every miss this or fourth down that, and we're going to be talking about Mendoza, and that's going to irk my soul because they've already told us that they don't want to put him in. People seem to think that him and Mendoza and Kirk Cousins are going to be on the same level, which they aren't. There's no way you can tell me that a quarterback that's fresh out of college is going to, unless you're like Joe Burrow, which is the exception to the rule, he's going to come in and beat a seasoned veteran like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins already understands certain things about the game that Mendoza have not seen, and he has to learn. Now, if Mendoza is that close without knowing those things, then we should be very happy. And we still shouldn't be trying to throw him out there very fast until we figure out what our O-line is going to do, figure out what is the five that we're going to use on the O-line, figure out who is going to be where. Because it's hard to fix an O-line and the quarterback at the same time. What we want to do is we want to concentrate on the O-line, get them solidified, and when you solidify them with the run game. And so we're going to push the issue with the run game. The one thing I do like about Kubiak, though, is we're going to run the ball whether it works or not. We're going to run the ball whether it works or not because it keeps teams honest. And there's no way you can tell me that as bad as our O-line played last year, and Genty was only 25 yards away from 1,000, and he was tap dancing behind the line of scrimmage as much as he was, that we aren't going to be able to run the ball to some degree this year, definitely better than last year. So we're going to establish that, and that's going to help our receivers because it's definitely hard to catch the ball when you know that the defense is pinning their ears back. They know you're throwing the ball. They're going to put the coverage back there where you can't create separation. And then people are going to sit there and say, well, Jack Besh can't separate, or Thornton can't do this, or yeah, because the coverage is already there. The part of a successful offense is running when they think you're going to throw it and throwing it when they think you're going to run it. And that's what Kubiak's system brings to the table, is the inability to tell what he's going to do. And with that, he can set up plays. So I really feel confident that we could beat them week 4, even with Mahomes on the field. And then we don't play them again until week 17. So that'll be a blessing in disguise because by that time, they'll be full forced. And they'll see if they need to win that last game to get into the playoffs or a seeding situation or not. Hopefully, we got to play them and we have like 9 wins and 10 to get us in. That'd be nice. Cool Kev, Diggs said, he said Diggs for 1 year can't hurt. I beg to differ, bro. I even asked, how can it help? We don't need necessarily a 1,000-yard receiver. We need receivers that score touchdowns. Diggs has 4 touchdowns last year. 4 touchdowns. Trey Tucker had 4 touchdowns last year. So is that a big upgrade? I don't think it's worth the headache of having him in the game on our team. Because he's going to be the guy that's going to be out. He's going to be the guy that has Cardi B as a distraction, or whoever the woman is something in Vegas is going to happen. And even if he is good, you just got to know that he's going to get himself in trouble. He got himself in trouble in Bristol. There's nothing up there but cold weather and Aaron Hernandez's. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to do up there, really. What's up with Raider Ben? What's up with my brethren? So I think that it can hurt us if we bring Diggs in. Now, do you bring him in on a 1-year deal, and if he becomes a problem, then you let him go? Well, that depends on how much he costs us on the contract. If they given what I've been seeing reported, what 10 million dollars somewhere in there. Okay, you can gamble. You can gamble. But I just don't think that's a gamble that pays off that much. So that's just how I feel about that. Cool Cat said we can beat them without Mahomes. Just gang up on Walker on K9. Yeah, I think we're building our defense on stopping the run. Because if you can stop the run, you can control the game. And if you can run the ball, you can control the game. So I think like K9, as good as he is, he won MVP, but he didn't have a touchdown or anything. I don't know the last time I seen the MVP not have a touchdown or whatever in the Super Bowl. I think he's cool, but I don't think he like all of that like that. He's a good running back, but I just don't think he's all of that you know. But like I said, it is definitely an upgrade from Pacheco and Hunt. So that's going to help them keep some of the pressure off Mahomes so he don't have to drop back 30, 35 times and throw the ball because he can get re-injured. Because when you hurry up and come back from one injury, you can overcompensate and injure the other leg or the other knee or something like that. So I just feel confident that we'll be able to jump on them early and get a chance to beat them. Right. Another great point. Mahomes is no spring chicken. And he is not going to rely so much on his athleticism. He's going to rely more on his brain and his ability to manage the game and not have to be the game breaker all the time. So that's something to watch for as well. That Rams game will be tough. I'm glad we were playing them earlier in the year because really when they get to rolling, they're rolling. They were only probably like a couple plays away from, you know, being that team, being the team that's going to the Super Bowl. A lot of people think this team is going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Well, I won't say a lot of people, but I've seen some people say that, and I wouldn't argue that. That's why it was such a big debacle about why they pick up a quarterback when they're only probably like a couple pieces away from really getting back to the pinnacle because they only have so much time left with the quarterback that they have. Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's always one in the crowd. And this is going to be the reason why that this is going to be only for subscribers only. But I don't know. Yeah, I do have a mod. He's just not here right now, Cool Kid. I guess you don't make it until you got bots, right? Let me go and unblock this. If you want to be a mod, let me know, cause Cool Kev, you definitely any of you guys that's always here, we the people, any of you guys want to do it. I know you saying we got bots, pay attention, but I do need a mod. What's up with we the people? We have 8 tough games. Yeah, we do have 8 tough games. Well, we got to keep in mind that we are playing that we are playing the last place team in the divisions. So we have eight winnable games. Just for 12 said we have 8 tough games: Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Rams, Niners, Seahawks, Browns, Broncos. If we went 4-4 during that stretch, it would be a win in my book. I would agree. Who are the 4 teams that you think that we could win in that situation, beat in that situation? I would say the Browns. I would say the Broncos. I think we can beat the Broncos. I really think the Broncos are overrated, y'all. I was trying to tell y'all the same thing about the Chargers. It's hard to make that point when all 3 of our teams made it to the playoffs. But I really don't think that they're that good. Really, I don't think the Broncos are that good. They have a all world defense though. And that goes to show you that if you do have defense, you can win games. So, Coach Robbie, we need you to get these guys on par. Get us somewhere in the middle of the pack, top 15 defense, and then get us pushing into that top 10 defense. And we don't even have to be a top 10 defense in order to win the Super Bowl. Now, we can have a top 15, top 12 defense, and then our offense is up there, like one of the top 10 offenses or even top 12. That's gonna equate to winning some games. That is going to equate to winning some games. The reason why our defense was so terrible last year is because our offense couldn't score more than like 14 points a game, 16 points a game. Our defense was on the field 2/3 of the time. That's not how that works. So, yeah, that's a gauntlet right there, though, for sure. Another game I have scheduled, circled on the schedule, is going to be that Titans game. A lot of people are starting to think that the Titans are turning the corner. They had a good draft, and they went out and got a wide receiver for Cam Ward. He had a good year. And when I say good, I don't necessarily mean statistically. One thing that I definitely look forward to seeing when it comes to new quarterbacks is their ability to play 17 games. That's the reason why I say quarterbacks like AOC, we need to stop talking about AOC. Because he's not a quarterback that can go out there and last 17 games. He's not even going to last 10 games. We've already seen it. He probably can't play more than 3 games without getting injured because he's not the most mobile. He don't know how to fall. I mean, who remember the man fell on his knee and they had to airlift him off the field, put him in the air cast, and then he came back in a couple weeks. And fell again. Fell wrong then. So AOC, I'm sorry. I just don't like AOC. Raiders Unleashed, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? So those are the games I have scheduled. I mean, circled on the schedule, and I'm really tired of talking about the schedule because I'm ready to play the schedule. But this is the news that we have written in. So, what do you guys think we're going to go in the division? Do you guys think we're going to end up in first place, second place, third place, or last place? I did do a poll a couple weeks ago, and the consensus was we were going to either be second or in last. So, what do you guys think our record is going to be? Where are we going to end up at the end of the year? I don't think we're going to win the division. I hate to think we'll be last in the division, but then who would be last in the division? It's probably not going to be the Chargers. The Chargers are going to be somewhat decent. We would have to believe that Kansas City is going to totally fall off the cliff again. They didn't make the playoff last year, and then they're going to totally fall off the cliff if they end up in last place this year, which is hard for me to see. In Denver, they were the best. So are they going to go from the best to worst? I don't think so. So that only kind of leaves us there to go there. So I don't know. I don't think that we're a last place team in this division. I think we definitely have one of the tougher teams in the divisions. The NFC West is obviously one of the toughest teams in the division for the simple fact that it came down to them, the Rams and the Seahawks. And then the Niners were in the hunt. So this West Coast, and something about this West Coast. Let's see. Raiders Unleashed. If Mahomes doesn't play until week 4, that'll probably 4 losses for them right off the rip. Are they good enough to recover from that? I don't believe so. I think they're good enough to recover from 4 losses, or if they go 1-3. I think they're good enough to do that. They've done it before. They normally, not normally, but recently, they've kind of started slow. Recently, they've started slow. So I think that mm, I'm almost positive that even if Mahomes does not play the first 4 games, he will show up to that Raider game. That will be the game that he has circled. He will show up for that. Now, as far as what you're saying is if they can win the division after losing 4 games in a row or losing 3, it's going to probably be highly unlikely. Now, if they mess around and lose games to teams in our division and we split with them, then who knows? Who knows where they might end up? And also, to your point, the Chargers, they stay injured. They start off quick, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, 2 minutes later, it's over. They busted. Laying there talking about, hold on, give me a minute. And then they stumble into the playoffs and then lose in the first round. Not even looking like a playoff team. So Chargers are always injured. They have a lot of questions. Also, the Broncos have questions with Davis Webb calling plays. Facts. Now the whole division could look different this year. We just don't know yet. Yes, I agree. We just don't know yet. The Broncos were one of those teams that won a lot of close games last year. They had a lot of come from behind wins. Successes like that don't always translate. Yeah, so I agree with you on that. Because what happens a lot of times is teams that lose close games the year before, they try to rectify those close games, those one possession games, and turn those into wins. And then, similar to Kansas City, teams that were getting away with winning those one score games and those come from behind victories. Then the following year, what happened? Those games that they would normally win, they end up losing because in the NFL, that following year, that gap closes. They paying coordinators big money nowadays to make sure whatever happened last year don't happen again this year. So the landscape of the division can be different. Ecoder. It says Raiders might win 5 games. That's fair. That sounds better than the 4 I've been hearing. What 5 games do you think the Raiders will win? What are the 5 games you think that the Raiders will win? I got us winning more than the 5 games. Right. A lot of those were lucky comebacks. The Raiders lost to the Broncos 10-7 last year with Geno and the coaching staff we had. See, smart guy. Smart guy. Although I don't blame Geno as much as a lot of people do, because as an offensive coordinator, you're supposed to set your quarterback up for success. And all Chip Kelly did was sabotage. Did we forget that he was calling plays that we weren't practicing? Do we forget that he was throwing the ball, play action on first down to start the game without even running the ball at all to establish a run? It was clear to me that he was sabotaging this offense, thinking that he was going to survive the year, get a quarterback that he wanted, and then thrive. But the Raiders did something they normally don't do, and that's to pull the trigger. And they pulled the trigger on McDaniels as well. So that kind of tells me that the Raiders have been turning in the right direction for a little bit now. We've been trying to do the right thing. We just made the wrong decision. They didn't pan out. And I'm okay with that because we were actually making decisions. It's like an airplane. If you want to go a different direction or go back the direction you came from, it's not like it's a gradual turn. It's like a U-turn. So you got to give it time. And that's what we're doing right now. And I think now we're at the point where we're starting to head back the other way, or we're coming out of the curve going back the other way. Because we're not doing the things that we've been doing in the head office. Always keep saying this. You win championships from the top down, not the player up. You could usually tell if a team is going to win a Super Bowl or be in the hunt for the Super Bowl is first look at how the organization is treating the team. How are they going about their business? Are they just trying to throw players at the wall and hope that they mesh and stick? Or are they methodically putting pieces together, building, and they know that they're either one a couple players away or they know that they're a season or two away? That's what we're starting to do now. Is it bad? Should we think we're going to playoffs now? No, at all. Stop. Don't. Even if you project us to get 10 wins, don't expect us to go to the playoffs. The sky, the ceiling should be like, all right, if we double our win total, then we should just take it as a win, period, no matter what happens, and then look at where our areas of growth could be. Because 6 wins could turn into 10 wins the following year, or 9 wins for sure. Depends on how many close games. Like that Denver Niner game 10-7, you're not going to keep winning games 10-7 if you're Denver. You're not. Broncos are iffy. Defense carried them for sure. And they're supposed to already have what you would think is a franchise quarterback in Blow Dix. And I think I think he's all right. I just think he's all right. I don't even think he's better than Justin Herbert. They might be cut from the same cloth. They both overrated to me. Yep, they both overrated. I remember when everybody kept talking about, oh, he got Hall of Fame numbers. I'm talking about Herbert. Hall of Fame throwing numbers, and he's going to throw for 1,000,000 yards. And not being facetious, but and he's going to be projected to be this in the Hall of Fame. And I was like, man, this dude can't win games when it's time. Like you could see him overthrow the ball and all that other stuff. I did like the grit that he played with last year because when he got injured, he did not settle. But that shows you he's a competent quarterback. I'm not saying that he's totally garbage. What I'm saying is he's overrated, though. I think he's very overrated, though. You have a quarter. You go to the playoffs. The quarterback you're going against throw 5 interceptions, and somehow y'all still lose that game. You go to the playoffs last year, don't show up. You're overrated. You're just a numbers. You're just driving your numbers. Now, if the Raiders sneak into the wild card game, Frank White, if the Raiders sneak into the wild card game, Frank White, that will be the Raiders of the old. That would be the Raiders of the old. Because we was the first team to win a Super Bowl being a wild card team. I mean, we've endured all the dragons and the demons, and for somehow we ended up at the prom. And one of my sayings is just because you go to the prom don't mean you get to F the prom queen. Now, if we can sneak into the prom, with our swag, we might can smash the prom queen. Or at least take her out back and spit some game in her ear. And be like, yeah, next year we gonna, you know what I'm saying? You feel me next year. Nothing but Raider podcast. What's up, brother? Yes, Blow Dix is an average quarterback. They both 3A and 3B, right? Okay, here we go. Judge Q, Jesus Christ died so we could live. Hey, I agree with that though. I agree with that. Broncos did pick up Waddle. Now that was big. I ain't gonna lie about that. I ain't gonna lie about that. That's big. But you still got to get the ball to him. You got to get the ball to him. And I think that uh, Dix is him and Sean Payton don't see eye to eye all the time. And I think he thinks I don't want to say he's bigger than the brand, but he's just one of those quarterbacks that is defiant. He's like a petulant child almost. Like he's gonna do what he wants. And then if the results do pan out, it's one of those things that you be like, see, I told you. And do you guys see him as being a Super Bowl caliber quarterback? I mean, granted, he almost got there last year. So I just think he's a little overrated. But them picking up Waddle is big though. That's big. But I don't think one wide receiver is gonna give them the straw that breaks the camel's back. I just don't. I just want to see progression in that we are in most of our games and not getting blown out. Yeah, for sure. Like especially last year, we knew once teams got like 14 points, 17 points, and we have 7 points at the half and 10 points at the half. We're not gonna win games like that. So I don't know. The progression thing I do want to see, and that's what I'm saying. And we went twice as many games last year as last year. Then that's really a lot of the progression we need to see. I personally don't think we were a 3-win team last year. I think we were better than that. Our offense was just atrocious. It just stunk up the field. And it just was like a carcass in the desert. Just buzzers just flying all over us. So progression, 6 games, even 5 games, but 6 games. I think 6 games will be the floor for me to be like, okay, cool, all right. Judge Q says JD5. I got you, Jaden Daniel, 100% winning MVP and winning Super Bowl. I'm not even a Commanders fan. What fan are you then? I don't know how Jaden Daniels going to win because they see that should be an indicator for people to see that uh, what happens one year doesn't always translate the next year. And then also these 1 year turnarounds, we don't look for that for us. Do not look for that 1 year turnaround, thinking that it's going to be the the pinnacle of what we need to do in order to turn this franchise around. Because is that sustainable? Daniels got injured. Their whole season went to the trash heap last year. So they almost had to start over. Now, did they hit rock bottom? No, they didn't necessarily hit rock bottom, but they're not in the stratosphere of winning a Super Bowl. I mean, because even the year that they were overachieving or playing at a high level, they only were able to win to go so high because of the lack of experience for Daniels. And then for him to miss essentially a year last year, that means you're taking a step back. You're not taking a step forward or even staying the same. So I would like to see why you would think that he's going to win MVP and the Super Bowl. Uh, I like Jaden Daniels, but I don't think that's going to happen. Raiders on Lee said we were in most games that they had. They fell apart in the third quarter, and that's because you're talking about us, and that's because the defense gets tired. People don't think that's a real thing. If you play the game, you know if you keep trotting out on the field as a defender, for one, frustration kicks in because, like, especially like, remember the Bears game? Remember the Bears game? The defense was going crazy. And we ended up losing the game because they couldn't stop them on the last drive because they've already exhausted themselves trying to hold them from blowing the game out early. We get turned over, we turn the ball right back over. They get the ball in the red zone. We stop them, get the ball in their red zone. We turn the ball over in their red zone. Like, come on, you can't win games like that. You can't. The offense cannot put the defense in situations like that for the defense to keep bailing them out. That's not going to work. You're not going to be able to, and teams know that eventually the dam is going to break. Oh, you're a players guy. You don't have a team. You like players. No, that's fair, especially in today's NFL. That's definitely fair. Who are some of your favorite players? Justice for 12 says we need to have a lead in some games that's progressing so we can dial in that running game. Excellent point. Excellent, 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 excellent point. We definitely need to have some leads in the game and not always try to come from behind. Because if we are able to have like a 7-point lead, uh, and we're running the ball and eating up the clock, and even if we don't score, but we play the game of field position and punt the ball off, and our defense plays somewhat like middle tier. If the defense play middle tier and cause them to, they get a first down, whatever, but then after that they go 3 and out and have to punt the ball, and then we get the ball in position, and then we kick a field goal, and then we go up 10, and then put the pressure on them late, and, early in the fourth. That makes it a game for us to control. And it's rare that we're in that situation. That's why our special teams this year, all three phases, is going to be important. A lot of people like the Tokyo toe. We got a kicker that's inconsistent. What's his name? Matt A with the G being silent. I think we definitely need to address that kicking. I understand we like the Tokyo toe. You got a good name and everything, but we need field goal kickers that can boom 50 plus yarders, because now they have field goal kickers that's kicking 60 yarders with the new balloon balls that they're using to kick these field goals with. Get 2 first downs and kick a field goal from a kickoff. We need one of them kickers like old school Janikowski type. So that's a position that I'm very intently looking at. I don't know how consistent old bruh is. I don't know, but I know we need a kicker that can kick from 54, 55, 56, 57. And that's the problem that we had with our kicker last year. Because if you look at his numbers, he statistically was going he was going down more and more and more and more, and he was missing those long kicks, and we need those. Who is we? So when you say we, you just tell me you're not a team guy, you're a player. So, but I guess you're saying the Redskins. I'm not the Redskins, but the Commanders. Oh, I call them the Redskins, but yeah, that's true. But were they really a better team than the Raiders? I mean, like, really? I don't know. It's like the elbow calling the knee ashy. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so the players you like is uh JD5, Justin Fields, Justin Jefferson, Jackson Dart, Jamison, I like him, Malik Neighbors, Henry Ruggs. Okay, Ruggs. Bijan Robinson, I like him too. On PS2, Shador. Hey, Shador go crazy on PS2. What's that say? PS2, Shador Sanders. I don't know why I said the PS2 like PlayStation, but I like Shador. I think we should have. I think we should have drafted Shador personally, but that's another conversation. Camel, yeah, 70 yards. That's insane. 70 yards. And I think that's weird. I don't think we should do that. Like, I really don't think that should be a thing. 70-yard field goals. That's insane. It's making the game crazy. All right. So how many games you guys think Kirk Cousins will win this year? Leave a number in the chat. How many games you think Kirk Cousins will win this year? And thank y'all for hacking in. You know, this is a late night show. We just chilling. I just want to make sure that when we go live tomorrow, that there's the least amount of hiccups possible. But so we just talking about whatever tonight, y'all. So if you guys have questions, drop them in the comments. If you guys have some concerns you might want to talk about, even some players that you might want to pick up, drop it in the chat. We'll chop it up. We'll chop game. If Tokyo Toe makes some preseason field goals and make roster, just know we will have an international game in Japan in the near future. So, and here's the point that I was making that I heard that his longest is 54 yards. Like, see, to me, that's not good. Your longest is 54? So that means you're not consistent at 54. That's what that means to me. And I need you to be able to kick 55, 56, 57, 58. 54, you should definitely make that. In today's NFL, 54 should be made for sure. But I need you to be like, I need us to be like Janikowski. We knew he wasn't gonna always make them, but we know the ball was gonna get there. So we knew we had like a 3 to 4 chance that he was gonna make it. We knew that. If we had a 3 to 4 chance. Matter of fact, the further it was, the better we felt about him kicking it than it was when he kicked them little 38-yard field goals or 42-yard field goal and go wide left or something, you know? So we need that kicker that can kick the mid 50s. And I think, and I need to go look it up, but I'm pretty sure we missed a lot of 50-yard field goals last year. Oh, Raiders Unleashed. Here we go. Here we go. When you want me to come on the show, guy, we can talk about this. Kirk doesn't need to play at all. Well, why sign him then? Why did we sign him then? If he doesn't need to play at all. And I'm not pulling your take. I'm just trying to understand the logic of this because coming into the draft, a lot of people were saying, well, if this was another draft, Mendoza wouldn't even be the number one. He wouldn't even be a first rounder, which I think is stupid. But whatever. Let's just say if that's true, he was a late first rounder. Now, all of a sudden, he's better than Kirk Cousins, and Cousins don't need to play. I promise you. Judge says 4. I say with Kirk Cousins, we could win. Kirk Cousins won 4 games at the end of the year last year for Atlanta. He started off losing, but I think he ended up being like. Let me look it up. Let me look it up for us. But I know he ended up going like 4-1 down his last 5 games. Once he got back on the field, got his rhythm going and all that. So I know if he can win 4 games out of 5 with Atlanta, we're gonna win more than 4 games all year with Kirk Cousins. And we starting the game off with Miami. So but now if he come in and lose to Miami, win in Miami and we lose to the Chargers, the Saints, and the Chiefs, then it's gonna be a must win for him with the Patriots. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I think he's gonna do well though. Me personally. What was I supposed to look up? I was supposed to look up something about Kirk Cousins. I forgot just that fast. Player coach. Oh yeah, player coach. Yeah, I think he's here to win. I think he's. I don't think he think his career is over. I think he's playing for another contract. And if you know anything about Kirk Cousins and his bread, he know how to play when it's time to get paid. Because he's the most paid in all the quarterbacks. So I think he's gonna go out there with a chip on his shoulder. I think the mere fact that everybody is overlooking him and keep talking about Mendoza, I think he loves that. I think he loves that. And as a quarterback, I would love that too. Put that on my shoulder. Put that chip on my shoulder. That's the whole reason why he was hollering you like that. Because y'all wasn't expecting it. You like that? You like that? Because there's something about being that underdog, and that's what being a Raider is all about. He's going to be the consummate underdog. Because everybody keeps talking about Mendoza as if Mendoza is going to be the week one starter. And I'm telling y'all, and I said this at the beginning once we signed him, that there's a very, very, very small percentage of chance that Mendoza starts over Kirk Cousins unless Mendoza come out and he look elite. And I just don't see that from a guy that's only taken like 4 or 5 snaps under center all year. I mean, all college career. And y'all can think that's not a big deal if you want. I doubt that you play quarterback if you say that. At the most, I think Mendoza might surprise everybody. I don't know. Surprise who? A lot of people that think that he's not a first rounder. He won't surprise me. I I think I think if we were just to start Mendoza from the gate, and I don't like using this hypothetical because then people might clip this in their brain and think that I'm saying that. But if Mendoza was to start from day one, I think we'll win 4 games with Mendoza right now. 4 games at least. So with Kirk Cousins, I'm thinking we win in 6, 7. So Justice for 12 says in our division, Raiders and Chargers play indoor stadiums, and I heard the Broncos and Chiefs will be getting one, being able to kick a 55 to 60-yard field goal. I would be cool with Tokyo Toe. Until we can get a real kicker. How many years ago was what? Turco Chains? How many years ago was that? He's 38 now. What, that he played at a high level? So it's only been 2 years removed that he was being brought into Atlanta to take over that franchise. And then they thought they had a bird in the bush with Penix. So instead of knowing that a bird in the hand beats 2 in the bush, they went out and got Penix. And so now you rubbing the quarterback the wrong way. You just signed somebody to come take over, and then you want to start a quarterback competition after you do that. And then on top of that, once they go bad, and Penix gets in there, and then he doesn't pan out, then you have to go back to Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins wins games, and then now that's what I was supposed to look up. And then now he leaves. Now he's stuck with Penix. And that's why Atlanta can't win a Super Bowl, because they're top down, relying on the player up. Their top down is not there. They're not making good business decisions. And speaking of business decisions, thank y'all for hacking in. Please hit that like button for the late night lounging. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the time the Raider season start. So if y'all can hit that subscribe button, that'd be definitely appreciated. How many years ago Kirk Cousins played good? Let me see. Well, let me see. 1 second.
Kirk Cousins had a 5-3 record as a starter for the Atlanta Falcons during the 2025 season.
So he was 5-3 last year. Yeah, let me take a look and see.
While the Falcons went 8-9 overall during the 2025 season, Kirk Cousins personally went 5-3 in the 8 games he started. Here is the breakdown of his specific wins and losses. Wins, 5.
So Atlanta won 8 games last year with Penix and all that. So Kirk came in, played 8 of those games, and he won 5 of them. And then out of the 9 losses, he lost 3 of them. So let's see. He had 5 wins. Week 12, he beat the Saints 24-10. Week 15, he beat Tampa Bay, and that knocked them out the playoffs, I believe. 29-28. Week 16, the following week against the Cardinals, 26-19, as they should. And then even against the Rams, y'all forgetting that he beat the Rams 27-24, week 17. So he went week 18, he beats the Saints. So he wins week 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 games in a row. Went 4 games in a row. When was the last time the Raiders won 4 games in a row? But we're looking at Kirk Cousins like he's not going to be. This was last year. Let's talk about this was last year. He had 3 losses. He lost to the Jets 24-27 in week 13. That was a letdown. Got scraped week 14 against Seattle, lost 9-37. And lost week 11 against the Panthers 27-30. 2 of those teams they shouldn't have lost to. But it was Atlanta. It ain't like Atlanta was that good. So, and you playing the Seahawks at the end of the year while they on automatic. So Cousins is not that far removed from playing good football. Better football than any of the quarterbacks that we've seen since Derek Carr. So I don't understand why are we looking at Kirk Cousins like he child liver. He better than any of the quarterbacks that we signed since Derek Carr. But that's just my opinion. He coming off an Achilles injury, but not last year. Last year is when he got to come back in and got his feet up under him. This isn't the first year he's coming off the injury. To me, it's just another bridge quarterback that's going to hold the team back. That's going to hold his team back like the last 3 have. The last 3 quarterbacks, different caliber quarterbacks. He took 4 or 5 snaps when he was kneeling at the end of the national championship. Yeah, I don't think they were counting that as snaps. I'm talking about actual plays. But yeah, those shouldn't count really for much. Play Kirk, sit Mendoza this season to learn. Now Kirk stinks to join up by the first 3 weeks of the season. Three games is not enough. 3 games. Let's say if we started Mendoza week 1 and he played the first 3 games and he go 1-2. Do we go to Kirk Cousins then? No. So why would you go to Mendoza after week 3 if he goes 1-2? Even if we didn't, even if we did that, we're gonna bring him in for the Kansas City game. Matter of fact, during the toughest stretch of our season, when we got Kansas City, the Patriots, the Bills, the Rams, the Seahawks, Denver. Like you talking about getting your head beat in, he gonna get his head beat in. That's what you need your bridge quarterback for, because he knows the temperament. He knows how to navigate the wins and losses and have a short memory. Will Mendoza have the ability to do that? I say yeah, but just not right now. 3 games is not enough. Now, if it goes, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is his schedule even right? Because I don't even see the Niners on here. Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, I do. If he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like going into the Jets game, right? 7 games went by. Now we like 2-5. Then I can see us going to putting Kirk on the bench at 2-5. Yeah, I can see that. Because then you put in Mendoza to play the Jets, which should be a winnable game, and then we'll see what it do playing the Niners. It's gonna be a an emotional game, and so I could see that at 2-5, but not 1-2. Okay. Yeah, he got benched because he had 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, but that ain't even the norm for him. But even if that is the case though, right? Because to me, I think that's not even smart to do that, to take your quarterback out because of that. Because see, they thought they had something more in Penix, and they were wrong. Penix is not better than Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, he's not. Why? Better yet, here's a better question, my brother. Why did Penix end up getting benched? What was Penix numbers? Let's look it up. Hey Google, what was Michael Penix stats for last year? How many wins did he have and losses also?
If you are referring to former Pro Bowl defensive end Michael Bennett,
Nah, man, Penix, bro. Let's see.
ah, you meant Michael Penix Jr.? My bad. When you said Michael Bennett, my brain went to the old Seahawks
Yeah,
defensive
yeah.
lineman. During the 2025 season with the Falcons, Penix started the first 9 games of the season before Kirk Cousins took over down the stretch. Here is how Penix did. 2025 record. 3-6 as a starter. 2025 passing stats. Completion/attempts, 166, 276. Completion percent, 60.1%. Passing yards, 1,982. Touchdowns, 9.
Oh, he got injured.
Receptions, 3. Passer rating, 88.5. Rushing stats. Carries, 21. Rushing yards, 70.
Hey Google,
Rushing TD.
did Kirk Cousins come in because he got injured? Penix got injured. Penix Jr. got injured.
Yes. Michael Penix Jr. suffered a partially torn ACL in his left knee during a Week 11 game against the Carolina Panthers. Because Penix required season-ending surgery, Kirk Cousins came off the bench to start the final 7 games of the 2025 season.
Right, and I think he went 5-2. But and I'm not saying Penix is trash because obviously you got 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, a 3-to-1 ratio. That's good. But they didn't translate to wins because he was 3-6 as a starter still. So you can have those touchdowns to interception ratio, but if it don't translate to wins, then sorry, he's on his way to the bench anyway. He's definitely on his way to the bitch. But let's see. He's so good Atlanta would rather pay his salary to play somewhere else than keep him in the building. Okay. So what do you think Atlanta's scheduled record gonna be this year? It was 3-6 with panics, right? Like I said, if you think that Atlanta is smart in their front office, then I got a strip club in Atlanta that I want to put your name on. You know Atlanta strip club capital. I got a strip club. I want to put your name on it. We'll name it Unleashed because Atlanta is not the smartest uh, franchise. Yeah, he did play horrible in the Rams game. Like, we act like quarterbacks don't play horrible at times. Y'all expect him to throw for 4,000 yards every year? Name a quarterback that we signed that was better than him, better than Kirk Cousins since Derek Carr. Name one. Name one. Yeah, embarrassing losing to the Jets. I do remember. Raider Twine, what's up with you, brethren? Yeah, he got hurt. If we go 2-5 with Kirk, that don't really tell the whole story. If Kirk was playing in them games, if he can still put up the numbers, but it's other things that can cause us to lose. That's true. That's true. That's very true. I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. If Kirk Cousins is in the game and he's looking competent, and we've just got other phases that we need to work on, a la defense, like if our defense really needs help, then or cohesion, or we're having a problem stopping the run, yeah, I agree with you. Then if it ain't Kirk Cousins, then don't take him out because putting in Fernando is not the answer. Like I said, it's not like we're sitting Joe Burrow on the bench. Now I get it. Like I was one of the people that was a proponent of Mendoza. Like, what more y'all want from the guy? The guy went undefeated, won a national championship, won the Heisman, made the play, made the plays that propelled his team to a victory, made the big throws when they needed to, and all of the above. And what more could you want from the guy? But he's not Joe Burrow though. So it's not like we sitting Joe Burrow down. So I think the more he could watch, the better. Do I think he'll be ready by week 12? Yeah, I think he'll be ready by week 12. I mean, like he's gonna be itching by week 12. And then Kirk Cousins know what it is. If you playing foolish and you looking incompetent out there, then you should expect not to play. And I like the fact that he put the pressure on himself that hey, the best player should win. But he knows to play. But he knows in his mind that he's a better quarterback than Mendoza at this point. At this point. At this point. Furpo, what's good with you, brother? Raiders. Justice for 12 say Atlanta is confused. They bring in a quarterback with concussion and injury history to it and drop Kirk. Yeah, see? Great point. Excellent point. Excellent point. Now, can Tua play some ball? Yeah, he can probably play some ball. That might be even the best place for him because he was definitely on his way out the league. But come on, Atlanta, you're not the smartest. So that's what I'm saying. By getting rid of Kirk Cousins, I don't think that's a knock on Kirk Cousins. I think it's more of a knock on Atlanta. Salute to the Rebels. Salute to James. He said, Henry Klein said, people want cookie dough and not chocolate chips. Let Mendoza sit and fully cook. Yeah, so then there's that thought process, right? Let him sit for a whole year for sure, like Aaron Rodgers and Love. But see, they have a history of doing that, the Packers, right? I don't think we need to have them sit the whole year. I don't. But see, Kirk Cousins is the type of quarterback that won't necessarily get hurt all year. Because even Geno Smith, as much as they was rat-a-tat-tatting him, and as much as that boy, as soon as that boy dropped back, it was on and cracking. He got injured a couple of times and bounced right back because when you are an NFL starting level quarterback, you play 15, 17 games. You play 15 to 17 games. And Kirk Cousins is no different. So for people that's sitting here saying that Kirk Cousins is going to be out by week 8, I'm like, if Kirk Cousins is out by week 8, we in trouble. That's what y'all don't realize, that if Kirk Cousins is out by week 8 because of injury, we are in trouble. Because what you think Mendoza gonna do? And then it goes down to what Twan was saying. Let Mendoza sit and fully cook. And then what we gonna do? Throw AOC out there? Come on now. We know, I keep trying to tell y'all, AOC ain't gonna play 3 games. We're gonna have to play Mendoza anyway. So now we just ran through our whole quarterback room for no reason. Again, this year. We running through our whole quarterback room for 3 years straight now. We need to stop that. So if Kirk Cousins, knock on wood, I don't know, that might be particle board. But if he does, we should just go and put in Mendoza and let the Mandalorian or DeLorean or whatever go in and start cooking. Like air fry it. You know, you can put frozen food in the air fryer and it still cook right. So just air fry them. I don't think he should sit the full season if your boy is injured. Raider and Lee say cookie dough is nothing without chocolate chips. I agree. Raiders and Lee say you don't let the best quarterback on the team if he is that sit. You put the best player out that gives you the best chance to win, whether he's a rookie or not. That's if you look in short term. But this is not even really a conversation. This is a hypothetical because Mendoza is not better than Cousins. Like, he's not. He don't even know that. He don't even. Look, that's not to say that he can't surpass Kirk Cousins. But what I'm saying is today, as of today, and even at the end of this camp, he ain't gonna be better than Kirk Cousins, man. The learning curve is too much. Y'all don't really understand it. The learning curve is too much. Now, if Mendoza was better than Kirk Cousins coming out of college already, then that's an argument. But Kirk Cousins is light years ahead of Mendoza right now. Mendoza can't come in and throw for 4,000 yards right now. Oh, tripping. He don't even know the footwork all the way under center, all the way yet. But y'all expecting him to play better than a quarterback that already know that stuff secondhand? If he does, we got a problem. I'm telling y'all. We got a problem if he does. So, yeah, you put the best player on the field, but if you play football, you also know, too, the best players don't always play. It's about timing, too. And Pete Carroll kind of tried to show that last year, but he's so old school with his timing that he's slow motion. And it ended up not totally hurting the team, but it hindered the team. For example, not playing our younger players early in the year because we were trying to compete. Because if you play them young players early, then we're going to lose games on top of losing games. Because they don't know what it's like or what it takes to win games in the NFL yet. Kirk Cousins knows what it's like to win games in the NFL. Mendoza does not. And it's going to take him some time and some wins to figure it out. And that learning curve alone is not going to it's not going to translate to him being better than Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, fellas. Justice for 12 said, I want to see them other two QBs the Raiders picked up when preseason hit. Yeah, me too. So we can get rid of AOC. We need to trade him. We need to trade him. Kevin Underwood. What's good with you, brethren? 2026 this season, 7-10. A better season in a long time. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, we got to look at a 7-10 win, 7-10 season as a moral victory. Look this up. How many quarterbacks have taken a job to so-called veteran starters their rookie season? How many quarterbacks have taken the jobs of so-called veteran starters? Great question. I will look that up. And then what we have to look at and see what are the quality of the quarterbacks that's getting their jobs taken. So let's see. Let me ask Gemini. And while we do that, can y'all please hit the like button? Where we at on the likes, y'all? Can we hit the like button? Hit the you feel me? Hit the you feel me in the corner that says subscribe to, and hit that bell notification if you don't mind. So let's see if Gemini is smart enough to get the answer for us.
Over the last two NFL seasons, 2024 and 2025, there has been a massive youth movement at quarterback. In total, 11 young quarterbacks have officially taken over starting jobs from established veteran starters via drafts, training camp battles, or performance benches. Here's the breakdown of the major guard-changing moments over the last 2 years. The 2024 class takeovers. The historic 2024 quarterback class didn't wait around. Nearly all of the top first-round picks pushed veterans out of their jobs almost immediately. Caleb Williams, Bears, completely replaced the incumbent Justin Fields, who was traded to Pittsburgh to clear the way. Jaden Daniels, Commanders, stepped in seamlessly as the day one starter, replacing the previous year's starter, Sam Howell. Drake May, Patriots, began his rookie year behind veteran Jacoby Brissett, but took over the starting job permanently by week 6 of his rookie season and exploded into a top-tier starter by 2025. Bo Nix, Broncos, won the job outright in training camp as a rookie, beating out veteran Jarrett Stidham. The 2025 class takeovers. The 2025 season saw an equally aggressive wave of rookies taking over from veterans on day one, alongside a few delayed transitions. Cam Ward, Titans, taken number 1 overall, he immediately took the job from Will Levis, who had frustrated the coaching staff the prior year. Jackson Dart, Giants, drafted in the first round and pushed his way into the starting role over New York's bridge options by week 4 of the season. Tyler Show, Saints, ended up taking over the starting reins in New Orleans midway through the season. Quinn Ewers, Dolphins, stepped into the starting lineup late in the year. Delayed or draft and sit takeovers. A few teams tried the veteran bridge method, only for the young guy to take over anyway. Michael Penix Jr., Falcons. As we talked about, Kirk Cousins was originally brought in to be the high-priced veteran guy, but Penix won the job out of training camp for the 2025 season before his unfortunate injury. J.J. McCarthy, Vikings. After missing his entire true rookie year in 2024 with a torn meniscus, he officially took over the future of the Vikings franchise. Aiden O'Connell / Gardner Minshew, Raiders. The Raiders spent the last 2 years cycling through veterans like Jimmy Garoppolo and Gardner Minshew before pivoting younger. Are you looking at a specific team's quarterback situation?
Okay, so with that being said, a lot of information there. Caleb took over for Justin Fields. Justin Fields don't even have a job. Well, he got a job, but not a starting job. So he fell off. Jaden Daniels came in for Sam Howell. Like, where is Sam Howell at right now? Jacoby Brissett, he got a job now though. Lost to Drake May, but come on, we talking about Jacoby Brissett. He not better than Kirk Cousins. Bo Nix came in and beat Jarrett Stidham. I know y'all remember that guy. I told you guys that Stidham wasn't no starter to begin with. I was surprised he even got a job with the Broncos. He probably over there so he can tell them our plays or what our concepts are. Like these are not quarterbacks that's won meaningful games or thrown for 4,000 yards. Cam Ward came in for Will Levis. Like, really? Jackson Dart came in. He started over my boy Jameis, famous Jameis. But at this point, Jameis is going to look like he a career backup. Tyler Show, who he take a job from? Quinn Ewer. I mean, like, come on. And even what they saying, Michael Penix took Kirk Cousins' job. Kirk Cousins had a better record than Penix did. So it's all a matter of perception, I guess. But the stats are saying what they say. It doesn't hurt to sit the top pick quarterback. Other positions should absolutely play right away. I agree. Other positions, yeah. But the quarterback position is different. It's definitely different. They thought second round pick Derek Carr was going to sit behind Matt Schaub. Look, we talk about Matt Schaub, bro. Matt Schaub wasn't. He had what, a good year and a half, 2 years at the most. And he started day one. They thought Russell Wilson, also second round pick, was going to sit and learn behind Matt Flynn. But come on, like Matt Flynn. You know why Matt Flynn got that job? Because he came in and threw like for 5 touchdowns on the Raiders. Anytime a quarterback come in and ball out, somebody think that they could start somewhere, which sometimes they can. Because look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, my boy Baker Mayfield, was 15. He was at the bar on his way out of town, and he was like, "Hey, bro, it's a game over. You want to play against the Raiders real quick? If you can win that game, we might can find you a job somewhere." And not only did they find him a job, he ended up being the franchise quarterback for Tampa Bay, all because of the Raiders. So I agree. If you're a quarterback, you can sit, but if you're not, you should start. And Derek Carr started because he understood the game a little bit better than Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub was had a good season or two. Like he wasn't a better quarterback than Derek Carr, in my opinion. But I think Matt Schaub does have a playoff win, though. Hold on, let me see. Hey Google, does Matt Schaub have any playoff wins?
Assuming you mean former Houston Texans quarterback Matt Schaub, yes, he has one playoff win in his career. His lone postseason victory came during the 2012-13 playoffs when he led the Houston Texans to a 19-13 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC wildcard round on January 5th, 2013. Matt Schaub's total playoff record.
Yeah, so and Houston had defense then too, though. Matt Schaub wasn't that good to me, bro. He had a moment in time. Now Russell Wilson, that's something different. Day one, he took his team to 2 Super Bowls. It's not unlikely for a first round pick to be better than a 38-year-old veteran day one. Yeah, it's a 38-year-old quarterback ain't named Kirk Cousins. Name any of them quarterbacks, including Matt Schaub. I promise you, they don't stack up to Kirk Cousins. None of those quarterbacks stack up to Kirk Cousins. Justin Fields either. So it's yeah. On paper, yeah. In typical situations, yeah, 68.2%, which is the majority, yes, I agree. But this is not that situation. Russell had been to 2 Super Bowls and he won one. He got benched in week 6 and to 24th pick. But Russell Wilson had been to 2 Super Bowls. He won one and he got benched in week 6 to 24th overall pick, Jackson Dart. Russell Wilson is garbage right now. Russell Wilson is garbage pail kid. Like, he's at the point in his career now, like, we know who he is. Like, even his stats can be decent, but if they don't translate to wins, like, it's over for you, kid. And Jackson Dart ain't that good anyway. He ain't gonna even finish the season either because he a crash test dummy. and he keeps saying he ain't gonna change. So his career not even gonna be half as good as Russell Wilson's. So it's not like he's better than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is not a good fit anywhere because, for one, he's not a leader of men anymore. Don't know why they don't respect him. He's not respectable as a guy. Like, he's not even a locker room guy. And then he had them corny sayings that people hate. That's right. Because they have to play the contact portion of the game. The quarterback needs to learn the total speed and reading recognition part of the game. Yeah, but you don't have to be the the physical part for the quarterback is probably the least, I don't want to say least important, but it's the least prioritized. Yes. Do you learn uh, game speed and reading the defense and all that other stuff by playing? For sure. For sure you do. You can also learn that by watching too, though, in film. And then at a certain point, then you have to go out and do it. But you don't have to take live bullets to learn that. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you sit there and try to uh, ingest the game and your O line is garbage, because we saw that last year. That's why y'all think Smith's so garbage. He wasn't so garbage coming in. Like, players, when they come to Vegas, something happens to their career, man. And that's because our head office was crazy and our coaching staff is goofy. And that's not where we are right now. Because even Geno Smith will play better in this system. I just think Kubiak don't like Geno Smith. Not personally, maybe just not like his play style or something like that. But if he was forced to use him, I'm sure we would win more than 3 games, for sure. But I think Bo Nix is overrated. Yep. Blow dicks. Raised on Lee says, no, I think Bo Nix played a lot of football in college and very experienced, which expedited the process in the NFL. And he has a damn good coach that knows how to make the offense around him. I think that's why he succeed, is because of coaching. Because there's no way Bo Nix come to the Raiders and play half as good as he's playing. Nowhere near it. With this coaching staff, is possible, but he's a product of Sean Payton. Who has as many playoff games as Kirk Cousins? Because Kirk Cousins had one playoff win. So he's 1-4 in playoffs. Great point. Excellent point. Excellent point. I don't always use the record to determine if a player is good or not, because you can be a player that haven't won a playoff game and still be good, but you do factor that in because at the end of the day, this is a production business, and no matter how you play, if you could win playoff games. So I forgot who we were comparing Kirk Cousins to, because they had one. Oh, Matt Schaub. So you trying to tell me Matt Schaub and Kirk Cousins is the same quarterback? Mm, mm. I can't say you're totally wrong. I can't. Uh, then we have to break it down to individual play. Matt Schaub, I'm sure his numbers don't look like Kirk Cousins overall. Because I've seen a lot of games, I've seen a lot of seasons Kirk Cousins throw a lot of touchdowns, little interceptions, like consistently. He just haven't been in the right situation yet to land. And is this it? I don't know. I don't. I know this is a good opportunity for him though, and this is the opportunity he needs, because if he don't play good here, his career is over, and then he can just sit back with his money. But if he does play well, somebody's going to pick him up. I mean, if teams are still picking up Aaron Rodgers, man, and that's only because he got a Super Bowl though. So there's always going to be teams that need a quarterback, and Kirk Cousins is going to be even that quarterback that you might call and be like, Phillip Rivers. But 38 is 38, though. So I'm not totally off brand of what you're talking about, Raider Unleashed. And you could have came up here, too. I don't know why I didn't think of this to now. What has Kirk Cousins done? He's played consistent. Played consistent. He got the numbers to show that he can throw 3-1, 3 touchdowns to 1 interception going in the given system. And this is the best system for him to play in right now in his career. It's all good, Raiders first down. I don't think I've seen you here before, but thanks for hacking in. We on a late night right now, just chilling. I don't know what. Tell me what time it is where you are right now. What time is it? Tell me what time is it? If you don't use the record to determine a player, how do you think Aiden O'Connell is not good? Bro, you can't determine if a player is good just by the record. You can look at how he played, the ability to win games, their ability to command the offense, their ability to stay on the field. AOC can't even stay on the field. AOC, you can only run, you can only follow plays from him in the pocket. You ain't running calling no, you ain't calling bootlegs with him all the time. You're not. Like Kubiak like to call. So what Kubiak did with Darnold was a pocket quarterback, right? So Sam Darnold's a pocket quarterback. They was able to make the offense work well enough where they kept the defense off of him so he could flourish. Did you do the same thing with AOC? No, he's not a Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold can play 17 games. AOC can't. Just that alone. AOC is not him, bro. I'm sorry. I know y'all like him, and obviously the franchise like him because they keep bringing him back. But he ain't even in the conversation, in my opinion. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's go get Kirk Cousins' number because he's trying to say he damn near had double-digit interceptions every year. That's up 4, which is a lot. Double-digit interceptions is like commonplace, bro. How many touchdowns did he have? Like damn near 30, 28, 25? I'll take 10 interceptions and 25 touchdowns. Like, but I'm about to look his numbers up though, because you don't think he's consistent. Yeah, Justice Jefferson to make him look good. He don't have that, bro. We had okay. All right. So AOC, he didn't play with Devontae Adams. So Devontae Adams wasn't good when he was playing with him because he sure looked good with Derek Carr. And he wanted, I think he wanted AOC to be his quarterback. No, I think he was saying that because AOC was the quarterback. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh, medianoche. All right, let me look up the stats real quick. Just because I think y'all hating on my play. Let's go. Not like hate, but hey Google, can you show me Kirk Cousins' career stats year by year?
Cousins' career passing stats.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. 2012. Okay, 2012. Played 3 games. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2013 played 5 games. 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Are we gonna hold that against him? Like, let's go when he was a starter. 2015. Played 16 games, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. QB rating 101.6. I'll take that any day of the week. That's double digits interceptions. 11, but he almost had 30 touchdowns. Then the following year, this is with Washington, mind you, 16 games, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 97.2 quarterback rate. Following year after that, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 93.8 rating. See, that's what I mean by consistent. He's consistent in the upper half of the 20s in touchdowns and consistently in the lower half of the 10s in interceptions. Then he went to Minnesota, had 30 interceptions, 30 touchdowns and 10 touchdowns with a 99.7 rate. Like, I'm confused. I'm confused. When is 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions bad? When is when is 20 when is 27 touchdowns and 13 interceptions bad? When is 29 touchdowns and 11 interceptions bad? That's his first 1, 2, 3, 4 years of starting. Then he played 15 games in Minnesota, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 107.4 rating. High upper 20s in touchdown, lower 10s. This is sub 10, damn near 5 interceptions. Okay. Then Minnesota, 16 games the following year after that, 4,200 yards. I didn't even tell you about how many 4,000 yard seasons he had at that point because he got 1, 2, 3, 4 at that point. 4,200 yards, 35 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's over 30 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 105 QB rating. What am I missing here? Another 16 games, he had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 103 QB rating. I see consistency. I see 25 to 30 touchdowns to 13 or less interceptions. That's phenomenal. 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, then 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions because he played 8 games and Minnesota got hurt. Then first year where Atlanta played 14, got 18 and 16. That's an outlier. That 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, that's an outlier. That's a bad season. The lowest of his career, 88.6 rating. That's even including all the I'm not gonna include the games he didn't start, but that's an outlier. That's one bad season. And he still had more touchdowns and interceptions. And then he came back the following year with Atlanta last year, 10 games, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2-1. So overall, this man got 300 touchdowns, 298 touchdowns, 131 interceptions. That's 2.5-1 almost. Like, come on, bro. 96.8 quarterback rating overall. And that's including those first 3 seasons where he didn't start or whatever. Those numbers will go up if we just looked at him starting. So I'm seeing consistent high volumes in touchdown, low volumes in interceptions. That's what I'm seeing. 1 year, 18 and 16. That's an outlier. Just like like the year he had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. You could say that's an outlier. Although the year before that, he had 35 touchdowns with 13 interceptions. So I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm missing it. Does he average close to 4,000 yards every year? Yeah. Like ever since 2015, 4,100 yards, 5,000 yards, well, 4,900, 4,000 yards, 4,300 yards. Then he had 36. Then he had 42, then 42, then 45. And then he got injured. And then in Atlanta, he was playing with him, and he still had 3,500 yards. So, yeah, What's in your wallet? What's in your wallet? I like that. No, they hating, bro. Yeah, I, I don't like to totally lean on stats, but I mean, like that is overwhelmingly like I keep asking, name me a quarterback that's better than Kirk Cousins that we've signed since Derek Carr. Those are at the beginning of his career. Go look at the stats and how they go up and down every single season, and look at the dramatic drop in the last 3 years. He's declining at 38 is my point. No, there is no dramatic drop. If you want to say 4,300 yards and 3,600 yards is a dramatic drop, all right, I'm gonna go with that. I'll go with that. From going from 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions to 26 touchdowns and six interceptions. I don't see how that's a dramatic drop in performance when really his quarterback rating was higher, meaning that he was more efficient at 107.4 QB rating with the 26 touchdowns and six interceptions. And then after that season, he went back to 35 touchdowns. Then after that, he went to 33 touchdowns. Mind you, he had 4,200 yards that year after the 3,600 yards. Then after the 42, he had 42 again. Then he had 45. And sure, the last 3 years he got injured, so he had 2,300, which is half of 4,000. And he played half a season. Then he played 14 games, had 3,600, and he was splitting time with Penix. And then, and last year he split time with Penix, played 10 games, had 1,700 yards, 10-5. I'm not. He's 38, bro, and it's not a dramatic drop. It's a drop, but they was playing games with him in Atlanta, man. And he got injured in Minnesota. And then they went and got the quarterback McCarthy, and he ain't even paying out. And he's not better than Kirk Cousins. They could have kept Kirk Cousins. Oh no. He said those are Joe Burrow stats. Like, thank you, bro. Now I gotta look up Joe Burrow. I'm trying to see all these 4,000-yard passing games and 30 touchdowns and 10, 11 interceptions and six interceptions and seven interceptions. And I'm like, what are we missing? There's a reason why this man made all that money. It ain't because his stats ain't there. Okay, but let's see. Okay, Google, can I see Joe Burrow stats, his career stats? So put in the chat. How many 4,000 seasons you think Joe Burrow had? He played 6 seasons. How many 4,000-yard seasons do you think Joe Burrow has had? Let's see if you guys are right. Put it in the chat. How many games you think Joe Burrow had 4,000 yards passing? I'm gonna tell y'all right now. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of 8. No wait. 3 out of 6. 3 out of 6. 3 out of 6. So he started 10 games his rookie season. 2,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. 16 games the following year, had 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. That's good. 108.3 rating. Following year, 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 100.8. See, this is where everybody fall in love with him was those first 2 years that he started like that, full seasons. Then he played 10 years in 23. 10 games in 23, had 2,300 yards, 15-6. So he probably was on his way to 4,000 there. He came back in 24 had 4,900 yards, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's an outlier, but excellent season. Excellent season. And then the year after that, play 8 games. 17-5, touchdowns, interceptions, 1,800 yards. So Joe Burrow's numbers ain't that much better, if at all, if we just looking at the numbers. Not to mention Joe Burrow can't even play all his games. Joe Burrow only played 10 games in 23, played 8 games last year. Now, Kirk Cousins, how many 4,000 yards games he's had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So half of his career, he's had 4,000 yards. Half of his career. And he didn't even start the first 3 years. He didn't even start the first 3 years. And he showed plays 16 games, 16 games, 16 games, 16 games, 15 games, 16 games, 16 games, 17 games. That's consistent. He did get hurt after that, 8 games. He came play 14 and 10. I don't know what y'all seeing. Combined 23 and 25, and his average are still high. Kirk is a good quarterback. He just sometimes went flat in prime games. Now, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yes, that's true. This is true. This is true. And this is the knock on Kirk Cousins, because although you got all those numbers, forget all that. And Joe Burrow got more playoff wins than you for sure. So who would you rather have at quarterback? The quarterback with the better record in the big games, or you want the guy with the 4,000 yards? And this is the argument against Kirk Cousins because he haven't won the big games. He made a big soundbite, but not win the big games. He's not a great quarterback throughout his career in pressure moments. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Hey, good point. At least the Raiders don't have any primetime games, right? Right. So you're right about that. Good point. Good point. Well, when I say great, I'm saying his numbers is great. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. Those numbers are great though. He's not. They don't translate to playoff victories, so that's why he can't be great. But I will say he's good though. This is an excellent point. Good thing we don't have any primetime games this year. I don't put Kirk in a great category, but good enough to keep teams relevant. Yes. And so why are we complaining again? And when I say we, I mean as a nation, like we're not relevant. We're so not relevant that we don't even have any primetime games. Now I know we'll have primetime games next year, though. I promise you that. We'll have them next year. Matter of fact, let Kirko go crazy, they're gonna flex us into one of them games. Let the Raiders get close to 9 wins. They'll flex us in one of those games. I promise you. Raiders at least say he had a very solid career. Still, my point is he's declining. He's 38. Yes, I agree with you on that. His release ain't as quick as it used to be. His mobility is not what it used to be. His durability is not what it used to be. I agree with that. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean that his production got to fall off the table. Because remember, they were saying that about Tom Brady. Your boy Max Kellerman was saying, oh, he's going to fall off the table. He's going to fall off the table based on the premise that when you're 38, 39, 40, or whatever, your production going to go down. But see, Tom Brady showed you that it ain't even about the numbers. It's about the ability to win games. And that's what Kirk Cousins don't have, is the ability to win meaningful games. So that's the knock on him. So the 38 thing, yeah, it does mean something, but I think it's more so that he hasn't been able to win the big games. That's really more of a knock on him than his age. But 38 is 38 because Tom Brady is not necessarily the norm. He's the GOAT, outlier in that situation. He's a GOAT in that situation. So I agree with you on that. He's 38. 38 is 38. The same problem we had with the last three quarterbacks we brought in. They were solid throughout their career, but got them when we got them when they were declining. That's the history of the Raiders. No, well, first of all, Jimmy Garoppolo should have never been here. He ain't even good. He just was good in a good system. Gardner Minshew was a better quarterback than his career went down after he played with the Raiders. So his trajectory was going up. But I don't think Gardner Minshew is better than Kirk Cousins. Who else we got? I think all these quarterbacks that we brought in is not on the level of Kirk Cousins, even at 38. We sign those quarterbacks that have very lucrative careers at the end of their careers and expect them to help us turn it around, and it never worked out except for Rich Gannon and Jim Plunkett. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Excellent point, my brother. Excellent point, my brother. Like, that is part of the Raider DNA, is to take the throwaway or the has been or the he has no gas in the tank or no juice to squeeze, and we like, I bet we do. So that has been a blueprint for us. I think we just picked the wrong quarterback to do it. I don't think picking Geno Smith was a bad pick. I don't think Gardner Minshew was a bad pick. And I don't think Kirk Cousins is a bad pick. Now, if I had to rate them all in order, I would say Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, then Gardner Minshew. I just think Gardner Minshew got a bad deal because we didn't have no offensive play calling, and we had AP. He didn't even know when to go for it on fourth down or not, and clock management. Just like the coaching, it was just terrible. It was just terrible. But Gardner Minshew didn't do anything to help himself because once he got in a position to start playing good, then he'll throw a pick at the wrong time. So Gardner Minshew didn't help himself out that much. Geno Smith, I think he was just completely sabotaged. I think a third of it was him. I think 2/3 of it was Chip Kelly and his scheme. I guess I can give a little bit of credit to Brennan Carroll too for his lack of being able to coach up the O-line. But I think he was sabotaged because I don't think Kelly wanted to be controlled by Carroll. I think Chip Kelly thought he was going to be the next Raider coach, and a lot of people thought so too. So he's the third oldest quarterback active right now, right behind Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Good point. We know Joe Flacco is out of here. Joe Flacco ain't even mobile. And Aaron Rodgers, the reason why he could play at that age is because he know what to do with the ball. And that just comes from experience. And I think Kirk Cousins have similar experience. Same thing with Flacco. He got experience too, but I think his age is catching up with his body. I don't think Kirk Cousins is at that point yet. But it's Jason B, like Jason B. I'm pretty sure it's right behind him. Raiders first down say by bringing in Cousins fits perfectly with what this regime is wanting. A good veteran that doesn't gleam a nasty ego, facts, and allow a rookie quarterback to develop without worrying about rushing out and trying to be the hero. And that's just the thing about Kirk Cousins. And this applies out to a lot of grown men in general. especially at your job. It's necessarily what you do, it's how you do it. They could hire somebody and they can have a person thinking that, maybe one day they can come take your place and they be trying to have you train them and all that. Now, if they try to do it on a sneak tip, then you ain't gonna want to do that. If they do it like undermining you, you're not gonna help that person. But now, if you frame it as in, hey, look, you are a guy. This is the situation. We're being straightforward with you. This is what we expect, and these are the parameters within that. Then you can probably deal with that because at least you know what it is up front. And then you could be like, well, I'm better than him anyway at the job at this point. So let's thug it out. So I don't think it's Kirk Cousins not wanting to be a mentor, but they quelled that. Kubiak quelled that already, was saying like it's our job to bring Mendoza up to speed. The things that Kirk Cousins is going to share is how to study, where the food place out and on in the building, who to go to get taped. No, not necessarily that, but just like the little nuances of stuff that makes your learning curve quicker by having somebody that explain those little things to you. Like, hey, you might want to come early on Mondays before films to get treatment because everybody likes to show up right before film. Like stuff like that. Now, as far as the X's and O's and all that, you can learn that stuff by watching Kirk Cousins on film and in practice. You ain't even got to ask him a gang of questions. That's not to say don't ask him questions, but you ain't got to ask him a gang of questions. You can pretty much just watch and pay attention. And that's what Mendoza's there to do, pay attention. Because if he indeed is not the most skilled quarterback like everybody trying to say, I don't understand why everybody trying to rush him out there. So rushing him out there for? What are we rushing him out there for? If he's not that guy yet. Kirk Cousins is like the best bridge quarterback that we brought in. Probably since Rich Gannon. So I don't know, y'all. No, let me see. Who do we have after Rich Gannon? Because we did have my boy that played for Cincinnati that was Carson Palmer. He wasn't better than Carson Palmer, and that's even arguable. So I don't know. I just don't. I don't. I guess because I play quarterback and I understand like if you don't get behind the quarterback, y'all probably not gonna win. Like you can't like just like if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Y'all ever heard that? Jason Campbell was cool. I like Jason Campbell for sure. I don't think he was better than Kirk Cousins, but but if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. And I believe in that. And I think we setting ourselves up by trying to say we have Mendoza ready right now. So now essentially we got two quarterbacks, y'all trying to tell us. One is old and one is new. So now we already can we're creating something that's not there. They're not even playing into that narrative. We're creating that narrative. Their stepbrothers or step cousins or whatever the intro was that, which is funny because a lot of people like it, and then like all my Niagaras and my ninjas don't like it, which is funny. They said it's too corny, but a lot of people like it because it was corny. Yeah, I would say Carson Palmer. Jason Campbell was having a career year. Yeah, he was, but he was overachieving right there. Well, not overachieving. Let's just say he was playing lights out, but then he got injured. So at the end of the day, pen to pad, stat stats to wins. He just played okay because he couldn't finish the job. Same thing with Carson Palmer. And knock on wood again. I hope her cousin don't end up in that situation. I hope he could play for the whole year. I hope that he could stay injury free. That's my hopium. Matter of fact, I got more faith that he could do it, actually, because he's shown that he can play year in and year out without being hurt. This is football. NFL, the best, where grown people are paying other grown people bills. And he's able to play year in, year out without getting injured. You're gonna get injured at some point. That's why I really didn't care about playing NFL like that. Because to me, when I played sports like that, I was a big baseball guy. And when I graduated from high school, I was 5'5", so I didn't really like playing basketball like that until I got into college. Because after I graduated from high school, I got to 6'1". So then I played football, walked on. And so I don't know. Mm-hmm. Carson Palmer, yeah. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I just think that we need to get behind our quarterback. If you undermining him, that's not comfortable. It's hard to win in that situation. It's hard to be a leader in that situation. 'Cause even if you play good, you're not playing good because the rest of the team not playing good because you out there on your own. You got to try to make teammates better, and you got to have guys that's willing to run through the wall for you. And I think that we're building that with Mendoza, and he's building it quickly because a lot of guys are saying the same thing. But about he's a guy's guy. He's everything to everybody and all that other stuff. But we need to see how you play on the field. We need to see how you play on the field, bro. All right, well, it's late night, y'all. I just wanted to make sure I got this live ready. I will be going live tomorrow. I will be talking about the interview with Trading Stooks and things that he's talking about. Because a lot of people have questions: Is he a nickel? Is he a cornerback? Is he a safety? He didn't play safety. He did play safety. So we're gonna talk about him and look at his mindset. I think I want to talk about Trey Zune as well, another player I really like that we draft. People were upset that we got another quote unquote center, but then he's really played left tackle, but his arm's too short, so he's going to play guard. So we're going to talk about him as well. Yeah, is there things you guys want to talk about? Tomorrow is William. Let me see. As a franchise, we only had 4,000 passing seasons. Farr 4, Gannon 1, Palmer 1. Raiders first downs. I like what you're doing. I see what you're doing, bro. I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna give you your credit. I'm definitely gonna give you your credit, but come on, man. What we talking about? I think Kirk got like 6 of them by himself. Didn't I just say he had like 8? Something like that, 7 or 8. So he got more than all them combined. But he ain't do it in a Raider jersey yet, so that's what matters. You gotta do it in a Raider jersey. You feel me? All right, my peoples, my people, my people, my people, my people. Let's see what we got going on here. I think we good. I think we good. So yeah, man. Thank y'all for hacking in tonight for the late night show. I might do this a little bit more often. I do like talking, just random stuff Raider without everything having to be so cerebral. I do appreciate you guys for hacking in, pulling up and going over the schedule and just some things that we have concerns about. Kirk Cousins is a concern, and maybe that's why people aren't talking about him as much as I think that we should. I think we should give him a little bit more confidence and faith because I know as soon as he start winning games, everybody gonna start be talking about Kirko Chains. Everybody gonna be talking about Kirko Chains, especially if we start off 3-0 going into Kansas City. I got us going 2-1 going into Kansas City. Everybody have us, a lot of people have us losing that game, but I think if we gonna catch them slipping, that's the time to catch them. If we gonna catch them slipping, that's the time to catch them. Raiders first down. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, yeah. Check out some of my content too. Check it out. Just check it out because we do different kind of things here. We kind of break stuff down. Right now, we're doing a lot of analytical stuff because I think it's important that we really understand what it is that we're getting and who we're talking about. Like those many people that didn't like Rob Leonard. They didn't like that hire. But then the more they got to hear him talk, the more they seen where he came from and what his background is, they started liking him more. They just did an interview with Janoko. I guess I'll go over that too. Janoko and what his idea is, what he want us to do. My IG is hold on, let me make that for you. Let's see here. My IG is EBH_black. EBH_black. And that's my IG. So yeah, hit me on the IG, man. Hit me on the IG. Raiders first down. Thank you for being part of the sub club. We're gonna do some for sure some content tomorrow. I want to talk about it. Like I said, I just want to come on tonight and I set my computer and stuff back up and get it going. So I want to thank y'all, and you know how it always go, because I'm a Raider. I'm a Raider from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. I'm a Raider out.
I'm a raider from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Recipes to Al Davis.